the Rock and Roll Insurance Guy podcast with your host, Albert Munoz.
What's up, Hollywood?
The show starts now.
And good afternoon. Welcome to the Rock and Roll Insurance Guy with Matt Palmquist and Hollywood Albert Jackson Munoz. Not to be confused with Lauro Alberto Munoz. 3 people, 2 guys, 1 show. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing well, Albert. How are you? What's up, Hollywood?
Well, I'm doing well, brother. If I'm talking to you, I'm having a good day. It's a Monday. You know how Mondays are. It's one Zoom meeting after another. You're logging off of one, getting on to another. And if it's not Zoom, it's Google or something else. There's so much out there, and there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to pick up. And I think once you get IT figured out, you know what your problem is? Connectivity, hotspot, internet. What do you have? So once you got your device, whether it's an Android or an Apple, whatever, your computer, your phone, your device, whatever it is that you use, that you travel with, once you got it figured out, guess what happens? They got a new model, or it updates and things aren't the same anymore. Or, like I said, you understand how your device works to your fullest capacity, and now you have other issues. That's my biggest problem traveling. What is your biggest problem traveling, Matt?
Legroom. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm 6'10", so if I'm on an airplane, if I'm in a car, just legroom is pretty much my issue. Connectivity, I mean, I don't really have an issue with that. I would say my biggest issue is legroom, physical space.
Yeah. Well, I hear you, man, and I know how tall you are. We've been in the locker room. We've shared many an audience, and I think the first game and the last game are the most vivid. Everything in the middle is a blur, and it's not that I don't remember, but it's the things that you have finals, you have this, you have that, and going to the gymnasium to play a game to me was a distraction. And so I just remember walking in, walking out, seeing you, seeing John, seeing this guy, seeing that guy, and all the kids and the fans, and it's like, wow, and I missed that. And, it's crazy because I think that's the most addictive thing in the world is that kind of adrenaline rush that you get. And I know that when you went out there and you got that ball in the last so many minutes, man, you blew the roof off that joint on more than one occasion. And, I still remember all of that. And you and I spoke about that. But back to the leg room and traveling, I'm only 6'2". But in North America and in, I guess, the United States of America, the average height for men is 5'9". So if you're 6 feet tall, you're in the top 3%. And if you're 6'2" or more, you're in the top 1%. So you, my friend, are in the top 1%. Me, I barely made the top 1%. But I will say that for me, traveling is also leg room and height. And God forbid you lose a pair of jeans or a suit, because now you got to go buy something, right? Because it's hard to find clothes in my size, and I'm 6'2". I can't imagine what it's like for you.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. It's not easy. I tend to find stuff that I really like or that's comfortable or fits, and I tend to wear it till I can't anymore, right? Or I buy multiples of it, so it looks like I wear the same thing every day, but it's not. I just find a brand or a manufacturer or a certain style of shirt that fits, that's long enough, that's comfortable, whatever, and I'll buy 7, 8, 9, 10 shirts like that, all the same color, because it feels good. I can't shop online and then assume that whatever I get is going to fit. Doesn't work like that for me, unfortunately.
I don't think that's ever worked for most consumers, because if you remember, first of all, I'm like a year or two older than you. So what I remember of our childhood may be a little bit more vivid because as an adult, 18 months, 2 years is not a big deal. But when you're kids, 9, 10, 12 months is a huge deal. But I will say this, and I'd like to share how we met, but I will say this. When we were entering freshman, you were 18, I was already going to be 21.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was in high school, I accidentally got a job for the United States Postal Service, so I couldn't go to college right away. And the scholarships that I had, I lost for being an idiot. I had about 8 offers. No blustery, no nonsense. These are some of the letters that I remember getting in the mailbox. Cornell, Santa Fe, somewhere in New Mexico, somebody in San Antonio, Incarnate Word, I think it was.
Oh, that's a good school, yeah.
Texas Women's University, the biology department, because it's a school for women, but it's for science majors, and there's a very small part. And I was really into biology and marine biology with Mr. Bender. I was his student for like 3 years. We would go to the beach, do the cleanup thing, underwater microbiology, the whole 9 yards, scuba diving.
Nice.
We loved it.
Yeah.
So I was a science major. And then I realized that they didn't kind of like align with my moral beliefs and the creator and all of that. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to be a scientist or a science teacher, I might as well be a scientist. I'm like, I don't want to go to school forever. So I realized that I had a theatrical background and I had a financial business public speaking thing. So I did both in high school and then I did both in college. So when I was entering, they were saying, why are you a double major? That doesn't make sense. We're not even related. I'm like, who cares? Now, 30 years later, Matt, what are we doing? Everything, a culmination of everything that we've learned since we were kids.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
And if you look at the Transformers cartoons in 1984, there was something called, oh gosh, I can't remember now, but artificial intelligence was a thing in a couple of episodes of the Transformers. Look at us now.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so
40 years later, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 30, 40 years later. It comes in increments, cycles. So those were some of the things that I had in college that were being offered to me. But I went to the post office. I took the 2-year route because I was going to go into the military, but they didn't take me because of my asthma, right? How weird is that? So I got picked up by the post office right after Christmas, our senior year, but I didn't start working until June 2nd or something like that because they got to do a background check. Mind you, I was still in high school. So all those scholarships kind of like dwindled away because when I was in theater, I did a stupid stunt and the drama teacher found out about it and guess what? No more.
Do you want to put that out there right now? I mean, I
don't, but I'm just telling you what happened so you know.
Okay.
You can chop it up however you want. But guess what? I ended up going to the University of Texas Pan American already with 2 years of business. Actually, a little bit more than that because I worked for a car dealership and I worked for the post office as I was going to college full time because I was paying my way. I didn't have a scholarship anymore. So the day that I met you, I'm like, wow, what a nice young man, such a prim and proper professional kid. I could see that you were going to be successful. And you were the same kid, you know, later on when I was Bucky the Bronc, but you were 4 years older. So was I. And I noticed that you still had the same core foundation. You didn't let success get to your head. And for me, my God-given gift, I only have 2 things, eloquence and confidence. And with that confidence comes the ability to not quit. That's the only reason I've been successful at anything that I've done. So with that kind of mentality, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I'm in this profession, and now because of this profession, you and I have crossed paths again, and here we are. So sometimes when people say, what if you had the scholarship? What if you had gone to the Marines? I don't know. It scares the living daylights out of me because you think, like, what if? Would I have still have met Matt Palmquist? Would I still be a financial advisor? You know? Would I be married with kids right now?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the financial advisor thing. Like, obviously the podcast is called Rock and Roll Insurance Guy, right? The Rock and Roll Insurance Guy podcast. What is it that you do now? I mean, you obviously don't work for the post office. So what is it that Albert Hollywood Munoz? What does he do right now? Kind of talk about yourself.
Well, right now, what I'm doing, I'm in my 15th year of insurance and financial services. We
Okay.
did 5 years with Mutual of Omaha. During COVID, they did what they did, and we went on and joined a marketing organization called Futurity First Insurance Group. And they
Okay.
represent 400 companies just like Mutual of Omaha, like Blue Cross Blue Shield. As a matter of fact, these are the companies that they represent. So it's a one-stop shop for any kind of insurance or retirement information you may need.
Okay.
401ks, 457s, 403bs, which is all basically the same thing. But life insurance, health insurance, dental, vision, home, auto, we do all of that.
Really? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So people can, if they need, like, insurance is kind of a hot topic now, like with so many, not to get into politics or what have you, but like a lot of people have lost, their health insurance benefits or Medicaid, Medicare, whatever the case is, right? Um, what is it? How can you help folks? Can you help those people? I mean, what is it? To kind of give an idea of what you do.
Yes, I can help a lot of people. And usually what I tell them is I can either help you save money or earn money. What do you want to do? Because one leads to the other. You
Yeah.
may say, well, you know what? I have limited funds. I have a limited income. That's great. Let's work with what you have. Let's cut some corners. Let's tie up some loose ends, free up some money, and learn to live modestly. Let's all live like we were in COVID again. If with that mentality, you're going to live modestly. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
split your income 4 ways, and then that one of three or one of four, whatever you can afford, you split it one more. And then you split that one fourth into another four. And yes, it takes a lot of discipline and it's very difficult. I'm sure a lot of other financial majors have thought of their own plan that helps them. I'm sure you have yours, but ours is based on something called a fact finder and an insurance calculator. You tell us what you have, we create a portfolio of what you may need, but we're also taking into consideration current prices, inflation, compound interest, and the Social Security happenings of the 2030s. In about
Yeah.
8 to 10 years, there's going to be some stuff going on. And to make a long story short, I don't know what the exact number is because it varies from source to source, but it's about 68 to 75%, depending on what government website you're looking at, that says that's
Okay.
how much of our Social Security pension that we're getting back that we have put into. So in 2033, 34, 35, it's supposed to take another hit and it's going to go down to 30 or 40%. I don't know. We cannot really say. Again, it's almost like every turn of the century, you always hear the end of the world, the end of the world, Y2K, this, that, we're all going to die, blah, 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 blah. If you
Yeah.
look at history, 100 years ago or every 1,000 years, people think that the world's going to end. It happens.
And it
It happened
doesn't.
when you and I were Bucky the Bronc and the #1 basketball player at Pan Am. What were people afraid of? Y2J, Y2J.
Yeah.
And when the next day came over, I remember that because those were the only days we had off. You remember that? New Year's and New Year's Eve? And then boom, we were back in the gym again because we were
I
traveling.
remember that. I remember Y2K. I remember it being 1999. I remember specifically where I was. And I remember waiting for everything to just go kaput.
Yeah.
And it
And I
didn't.
turned on my computer and it had a Van Halen video. I'm like, yay! It
Yeah.
still works. And boom, the rock and
Yeah.
roll insurance guy was kind of born around that time. Because I was a finance major. I love to be on stage. Of course, I don't have the it factor. And you know that, and what I mean by that is somebody like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise,
Oh, come on
eloquence.
now.
Well, the eloquence factor is one thing. That's something you can't teach. And that's why people like you and I are going to be successful because we believe in thyself and we can communicate.
Yes.
But, to go back to college and Y2J and all of that, I was a communications major and I was a finance major. What was your major, Matt?
I was in communications. I was in the communications building. It was a bachelor's of arts, but I always kid that I got a BS in communications, right? So,
Okay.
uh, Yeah, but I got a degree in communications, and then I got a minor in marketing. So, um,
Wow. So
yeah.
with marketing, I have to interrupt you because I love marketing because one of my favorite professors was Wolfgang Hink. Do you remember him, the German guy?
Yes, yes, I remember Wolfgang. Yes, yes,
He
yes, I
was an
remember
awesome
Wolfgang.
professor, man. That dude was crazy.
He rode his bike everywhere. Yes, I remember Wolfgang. Yes, very,
Yeah,
very,
and then
very
he had
knowledgeable
some.
guy. Very hospitable. Very approachable. Super cool. Yes, I remember
Yeah.
Wolfgang. Awesome.
Yeah, very well mannered, very funny, informative, very knowledgeable, open minded, down to
Yes,
earth. And he was what, 6'5", 6'6", and he spoke
he was
English,
very tall
German.
and lanky. Yeah, he was. I don't
Yeah,
know exactly. I mean, everybody. I kind of look down. I mean, I'm
yeah,
6'10", so it's like
yeah,
everybody's kind of short, right? So,
yeah.
um, but I remember Wolfgang. I remember vividly. He would tuck his pants in his socks because of the bike. He didn't live too far off of campus. I think he lived in one of the apartments, like the Palms or El Bosque or
Yeah.
something. Like he lived
He
pretty
did. He lived in
close.
El Bosque because he threw a
Yeah,
party, and we all went. The marketing class, the business class, and next thing you
that's
know,
funny.
no one from our classes is there. It's people from everywhere else. I'm like, dude, what happened? I
I
don't
mean, it's El
know.
Bosque, right? Yeah, I think if
Yeah.
you swam in the El Bosque pool back in the early '90s, late '90s, I think you didn't get COVID in 2020. Like it's one of those, it's one of those things,
Yeah.
So, uh, but
Yeah.
so what is the? I guess this is the first episode of the podcast, and we're going to get into so many things, right? Like, what is your goal for the podcast?
My goal for the podcast is like any kind of advertising or marketing campaign is reaching more people. And the only
Yeah,
way to reach more people is to try more things. We're past business cards and knocking on doors. I can do that all day, but
yeah,
nobody answers the door anymore. And you can't telemarket anymore because AI has taken over that market, and that has led me to lose and others. We have trouble retaining some type of clientele at a certain point because of all the AI that's going on. And the thing is, it's a dialer. It's a one area
yeah. It's
code
an auto
number.
dialer.
AI
Yeah.
answers. You answer. They start talking, and you give them information. But this is why they believe that they're more credible. They will get an old number that belongs to a legitimate business. So on my phone, I've had many phone calls from DHR, Doctors Hospital Renaissance, and one of my
So have
clients.
I. Yep. So have I.
And they did what they said. They lost their policy, and I had to go rewrite them. So not only do I get a chargeback, I get a diminishing commission for rewriting the same dude in the same product.
Oh
And
wow.
it's because, you know what, we have to learn how to retain our clients, reach more people, and everybody's on social media until you call
Hmm.
them on the phone. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Once we make that landing, everybody hides. And it's like, great, here
Yes.
comes financial advisor, insurance agents. Nobody answers their phone anymore. Once you've uncovered a need or understand that, yes, you have a need. Hey, I need dental, I need vision. A couple of relatives passed away from life insurance. This guy died at work. Now I'm concerned. What can you help me with? And these are the things that I help with. First of all, I want to inform, then I want to educate. So the more people I reach, the more I can reach by stating the
Yeah.
truth. And I have to tell the truth. I cannot bend the truth. And I
I'm
will
glad you
not point
brought that up.
fingers.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you brought that up because I know that's kind of in discussions when we were talking about this podcast and the culmination of it, and that was one of the questions, and that was not one of the questions, but that was one of the points of emphasis that you kept bringing up was like, hey, I want to make sure that everybody knows that based on the certifications and the licensing that I have, that I am bound to telling the truth. Like I cannot fib.
Yeah.
I cannot. You. What is the word I'm looking for? Not
Well,
elaborate, but
the terminology
embellish.
that we use
Yeah.
yes, that is strictly tied into our state license and our national producer number is you cannot mislead,
Yep.
misrepresent,
Yep.
coerce, rebate, or anything that is unethical. And if something is unethical, therefore it is illegal. Thinking about doing something and actually doing it. That's the difference between, being ethical and unethical and breaking the law. However, because it's so confusing, a lot of people, even in my business, don't know the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. They don't know the difference between life insurance, whole insurance, and universal insurance. Those are the three types of life insurance. Under those three are many other subgroups and things like that you don't understand. And people will say, oh, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Okay, well, what's your cost of insurance? They're like, what's that? Well, what's your monthly premium? Oh, $80. I'm like, okay, that $80 is your monthly premium. But what is your cost of insurance? And they don't know. So those are the things that I can teach that other people are not. I can even show you, say, hey, you know what? We did a fact finder. We did an insurance calculator. And I said, look, Matt, you're a little bit younger than me. Once you hit 50, guess what? You hit a different age group. Age bracket means different medical underwriting. They're going to be more strict. So the younger you are, the healthier you are, the better for you. So wouldn't you rather get a life insurance at age 47, 48 instead of age 50 if all variables were the same? So you would be saving, you'd be saving more money. And people say, oh, here in the 956, because you're in the 512 and we got 210 up there too. I do a lot of business in the 512 area code and 210. And here in the 956, you have that culture of tomorrow, mañana, and they're like, no, that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. You can't wait till tomorrow. People always call me when it's too late. I'll go do a presentation at their business, do a presentation at their school, or I'll get a referral from my book of business, a couple of clients, another business owner, a friend like you. It's always coming in. The kindness that you give always comes back. But people, for some reason, are afraid to really be vulnerable or tell you the real truth. They're going to tell you, hey, I'm happy, I'm healthy. Okay, great. What's your blood pressure? What's your stress levels? What's this? And I ask that because here in the 956, in the Rio Grande Valley, diabetes is a concern. And 9 out of 10 times people get diabetes because of abuse to the body. In my case, I got diabetes because of the steroids that I was on for my asthma. So,
interesting.
So I don't have type 1. I don't have type 2. So now since I'm a life insurance financial advisor, I also have to be an underwriter by default. I have to go through a certain amount of medical records and application processes. I'm only able to see certain things because of AHIP and HIPAA regulation. I am certified and licensed, but there's certain things that I don't need to see. All I need to see are the facts. Is this person a smoker? Yes or no? If they're a smoker, it's going to go up 125%. So think about it. You're paying $100 for $1,000 or $250,000, which is about right for somebody our age. If you're healthy, you're paying $100 for $250,000. And again, these are just rough numbers based on averages.
Yeah, this is just kind of explaining.
Now that $250,000 is going to cost you probably about $350,000 a month, because you're having an increase of 125% at minimum. You go from a table A to a B to a C to a D, which is 25, 50, 100, so on and so forth. And
you're paying $350 for that $250,000 life insurance because you are a tobacco smoker or you consume tobacco, correct?
Correct. Wow. So when we're doing our fact finder and they leave stuff like this out, or they say, hey, I'm diabetic, I'm insulin only, or I'm medication dependent, or there's a hybrid, they leave a lot of information like that, and that really affects underwriting. They think we're not going to find out. And we find out because when we submit an application, we have to go through the Texas Department of Insurance and something called Medical Information Bureau. We have to get a pharmacology report. We have to do the DMV. And that is your credit, your lifestyle. The blood and urine that we gave a physical exam to you for free, we paid for it. So we give you that part of your life insurance application process, so we can see that there is no undiagnosed illness. So for
Yes.
me, if I was to apply for a life insurance with Matt Palmquist's company, and they say, "Hey, Albert," Matt Palmquist tells me, "Hey, Albert, I recommend Foresters because you're diabetic, dude. Diabetics, they have special underwriting, special needs. Foresters is a good company." So you go to Foresters, you give me a little quote, you give me that quote, I give blood and urine, and they're going to say, "Wow, you know what? He is diabetic." Now, if we had not reported that I had been diabetic and I came out diabetic, I would have been automatically disqualified. So when people leave certain things out, like medications and diagnoses, they're really shooting themselves in the foot. And that's the hardest part. Earning somebody's trust, getting them to be vulnerable to tell you the truth about their medical history or their lifestyle or whatever. But we need to know certain health questions. We got to prove that you're healthy in order to get your life insurance. Same thing with disability. You don't apply for disability insurance when you're disabled. You get it before. The misconception is because of the way it works and the way it's presented by disability and social security departments, not taking anything away from them, but the word disability is a very widely used term that means many different things. There's accident only. There's illness. There's temporary. There's long-term. There's permanent. There's some that's covered and some that isn't, and it's just a disaster. So when we're doing fact finders and insurance calculators, we have to get the most accurate numbers, because what we need to determine is where you are, where you've been, and where you want to be. And all of that ties in together, because your life and your health insurance are predicated by your health. That's your credit. Yeah. That is your credit. The healthier you are, the less expensive everything is going to be.
Your medical credit.
Therefore,
much, right?
Of that monthly premium, that cash value increases and you grow more over a long period of time because you are healthier. Your cost of insurance is lower. Therefore, you earn more cash in your monthly premium. That is the way life insurance and other products work. Not all of them are like that, but most of them, okay? Again, we're not talking about product. We're just talking about general information. A lot of people don't know the difference between a whole life and a universal and a term. But they're going to tell me when I'm sitting with them everything they should.
That's the great thing about this podcast, because we're running short on time, is that people can tune into the podcast, the Rock and Roll Insurance Guy podcast, and listening you dropped a ton of jewels in the 20 minutes that we were talking just now. Imagine what future episodes are going to talk about. And, wrapping up, what is your vision for the podcast? I mean, obviously informing and talking about insurance, but is that all you're going to talk about? Are you going to inject sports? Are you going to inject current events? Like, kind of sum up real quick in these closing moments what the Rock and Roll podcast you have planned and what you have vision for.
Well, it's kind of like the dichotomy of rock and roll in the 80s when you and I were kids, and then once we got to college, or maybe even when Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and those guys came out, it just switched. And a lot of people are saying, "Hey, man, the 80s are over, man. It's time to get real," and you're like, you know what? Life is real, and so is reality. And that's why I want to be happy. That's why I want to spread happiness, because as a life insurance representative, you deal with life insurance on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Life is a reality. And I don't want to get too deep, but there's a lot of realities there that we have to see on a daily basis, regardless of your profession. So to spread knowledge and happiness would be the overall goal here. I would like to talk about certain era of Dallas Cowboys, my favorite basketball team, the Boston Celtics. I'd like to talk about the UTPA Bronx basketball team, men and women. Very talented the years that we were there. Maybe
right now. I mean,
but you have to understand
Brandon Chambers. There's a lot of expectations for UTRGB, which is great.
Yes, and I'm thrilled to be a part of the new legacy. But you and I could do like a whole week of just nostalgia podcasting right now. So
Yes,
my goal for us is to be of service to the community, help out the alumni, everybody we know, and spread truth and kindness. And if we can do it with some rock and roll music and some sports, let's do it. Because the last thing that I want to be is like one of those guys on C-SPAN wearing a shirt and tie saying, well, the current interest rate and blah, 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 blah. No one cares. No one cares.
You don't strike me as a Jim Cramer.
Picture so people can see the picture. There's something called imagery, and you as a communication major knows once we've painted that picture and we can get our person to see that, our audience, whomever it is, whether it's a client or audience, we've made it. We've made it.
Agreed.
And that's all we got to do. We just want to reach more people, tell them the truth based on state law, based on fact from state law. Because my license is 1717348. My national producer number is 17280079. I get them mixed up because one is longer. So those are my numbers. You can Google me. It says Lauro Alberto Munoz, and that's my name on my birth certificate. Now I can get into how I was given my name. That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole other
That's what I want. Truth and happiness.
That's a whole other episode. Hey, Hollywood, thanks for episode 1. It's been amazing. We have plenty more episodes coming. We've got plenty more seasons coming. We are going to get into the thick of it. I think you've got a great idea. I think this is only the beginning for the Rock and Roll Insurance Guy podcast. I think it's going to be amazing. I think you're going to be dropping a ton of jewels and a lot of information and just entertaining the masses. And I think that's what people kind of need in this day and age. So we're looking forward to every week.
Well, thank you, Mr. Palmquist, for your time and your professionalism and your kindness, your generosity, and most of all, your time. And I say that twice because that's the only thing we have on this planet is time.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the rarest commodity. It is.
Yeah. So I thank you and your family and your business and everything you've done for us. It was always a great thing to see the Saddle Up podcast. I'm looking for it. I haven't seen the season finale. I'm looking forward to that this Friday. But I thank you for everything and look forward to it. And thank you again, Mr. Palmquist.
All right. We'll talk soon. Till next week, guys.
Thank you.